Hello everyone, I Zainab Tinwala, lecturer of Organization of Commerce and Management from Arihant College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Camp Pune, welcome you to my study channel. Today's topic is fifth principle of F.W. Taylor, that is division of responsibility. Sixth principle of F.W. Taylor, that is development of employer and employees for greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. And after I finish these two principles, I'll be taking a recap of all six principles of F.W. Taylor. So let's begin with the fifth principle of F.W. Taylor, that is division of responsibility. So, according to the principle of this division of responsibility, there must be equal division of responsibility between the managers and the workers. The management should assume responsibility of the workers for which it is better suited. Major planning is done by the top level management, whereas employees are concentrating on its execution. The reporting is done as per the instructions given by the superiors. Managers should always help, encourage, and guide the employees. So, here, according to this principle, the work is divided, and when the work is divided, there is a head for a particular unit, and that particular head gets the responsibility. So, in a group, one person will be the manager and others will be the workers. Now, the workers will be responsible to see that the manager will be responsible to see that the workers perform the work well. Well, always planning is done with the top level management, as we have already seen with in the management chapter of 11th standard, that always planning is done by the top level management, whereas in the lower level management where the employees are there, they always execute the plan which is formed by the top level management. So once the plan has been executed, the in the middle level management where the managers and superiors are there, they pass on the instruction from the top level management to the lower level management, that is to the employees. The employees execute the plan, and whatever the results are there, they report to the superiors, and the superiors report it to the top level management. So the reporting is done as per the instruction given by the superiors. So when the superiors give orders to employees the employees execute the work, and then after the execution of the work, whatever output they get, the workers report that output to the superiors. The next point is managers should always help, encourage, and guide the employees. Here it means the manager should have a good relationship with the workers. There should be a good cooperation between the workers. There should never be any conflict, or there should not be a ego attitude towards of the managers towards his employees. So managers should always help his workers whenever they require. He should motivate his workers, as we have already seen in the last four principles, and guide the employees. So we move forward with our next principle, that is sixth principle of F.W. Taylor, development of employer and employees for greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. So here in this principle, we mean that scientific management aims at maximum prosperity of both employers as well as the employees. So to get best result for an organization, it always depends on the skills and capabilities of its employees to a great extent. So here, if it means that while appointing the employees, the organizer, the employer has to see that their skills, their talent, their qualification, their interest, and then appoint a right person at a right place. So when the right person is appointed at the right place, they will work efficiently, they will show their talent, and they will give a good output. So this will be a great plus point for an organization, which will help the organization to achieve its goals. Second point is that providing training and development programs to the employees whenever required is very essential. Like in olden days, in the bank, people used to write in books. Nowadays they have computerized everything. So the bank does not change its workers. Instead, they train their workers in new technology. In the similar way, in an organization also, if a new machine has been introduced, the employer have to train his workers. Like in an IT center, in an IT company, the people are being trained before placing them. In similar way, in an organization also, or in colleges or schools, when a new syllabus comes or a new syllabus introduced, the teachers are being trained. They are not being removed from their jobs, but instead of that, they are being given training. They are providing them development programs are organized for the teachers. So in an organization also, when they provide training and the development programs are kept for the employees, this is very helpful for the organization to achieve its goal. It ultimately affects the profitability of the organization. So when the organization trains its workers, helps their workers, guides their workers, have a good maintain good relationship with their workers, they have good cooperation among them, it develops team spirit, motivates the workers, all this contributes to the profitability of the organization. So each employee should be given a proper opportunity to attain greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. So according to this, each and every employee, when they are working in a particular field for a certain time, they get trained in that, they become perfect in that. So they are given more opportunities to move ahead, to show their talent. So when they are being trained, they become efficient, as well as they help in the profitability of the organization. And when everybody works efficiently, the organization prospers. So this was the end where I explained all the 6 principles of F.W. Taylor. So now let's move ahead and just take a recap of all 6 principles together. So F.W. Taylor was excuse me, F.W. Taylor was an American. He was an engineer, and he gave the 6 principles. His principles are termed as scientific principles, and that's why F.W. Taylor is known as father of scientific management. The first principle which is put forward by him is science, not rule of thumb. That means the traditional method of rule of thumb has to be removed, and scientific way of thinking, observing and analyzing things and putting it in the production, or using it in the organization is helpful. The second principle is harmony, not discord. That means all have to have a good relationship with each other. They should not avoid they should not have be there should not be any conflict between the management and the employees. The next is mental revolution. That means the mental attitude of the workers and managers should change against each other. They should respect each other's thinking, feelings, and work as a team. Cooperation, not individualism. Here, F.W. Taylor wants to say that there should be a teamwork done with along with the manager and workers, so that their interest, personal interest, is not considered. The entire team's goal should be one. Their entire team's interest should be one, that is to achieve the target given or the goal kept by the organization. The next is division of responsibility. That means the work is divided into smaller units, and each unit have their own head, and the head gets the responsibility, and there is a communication between the top level management to the middle level management through this manager, and he has to uh, do his responsibilities properly. Next is development of employer and employees for greater efficiency and maximum prosperity. That means the employer has to see that the employees are well given training, kept development programs, so that they can work efficiently, and this will help in the prosperity of an organizations. Thank you.